Hey folks, I'm Chris, and let's talk about streaming functions in Moose. So streaming functions let you define arbitrary transformations or business logic that you want to apply to your data as it's streaming into or through your Moose application and your analytics backend. These functions can be written in plain old TypeScript and Python, and they're orchestrated for you automatically by Moose. Let's take a look. So I'm going to jump into my Moose application. You can see here the two data models that we already defined in the data models video. As always, I'm going to start with running Moose dev to get my local dev environment up and running, so that as I'm writing code, we can see that hot swapped in to my, my full data and analytics stack. That's a replica of what I'd be running in production. And we'll check, and we can see here, yes, we've got the data models up and running. So now, what if I want to transform data from foobar into foobaz? I'm going to do that with a streaming function. And instead of building this streaming function from scratch, I'm going to use a Moose helper function to init this. So I'm going to pass it in the source data model. I'm going to pass it in the destination data model. And Moose is going to generate for me a skeleton version of this function that I can build into. So you can see it's created this function in the functions folder. If we open it up, it's automatically importing in the source of truth data models that will act as the source and destination here. And it's automatically defined a function for me that's going to take foobar as an input and return foobaz as an output. And now all I need to do is put in whatever arbitrary code I want to here to transform this data. So we'll keep this simple for now. We'll say that the foo is just going to be passed through directly as is. But for baz, what we want to do is translate the source string into the destination date. So if, for example, I just tried to pass this straight through like this, I'm going to get an error in my IDE that says you can't pass a string into a date. So that's part of the benefit of these source of truth data models is I get this developer time type checking and error checking directly in my IDE. In any case, I've defined my function here. Oh, I can also show you we can import external libraries into these functions. You can really do everything you'd expect to with plain old TypeScript and Python. So I'm going to import a library here, and then I could say, make this a UTC date instead of just a regular date. In any case, I'm going to save this. As always, this is going to get picked up by my file watcher and implemented in the underlying infrastructure. Now, this function is going to be automatically orchestrated by Moose based on the naming convention here. So anytime new data hits the foobar source data model, that's going to be automatically processed in stream, run through the function, and pushed into foobaz. So what I'll do is post some data to the foobar API endpoint here, just pushing in some sample string data here, and then a date in string form. I'll send a couple of these. Let's send 3 of them. And now when I come into my my underlying ClickHouse database, we'll see not only do we have the tables here for each data model, but if we look in foobar, we can see the data has landed with the date as a string. But if we look into foobaz, we see same data has landed, but instead of a string, it is now formatted into a date by that function. So that's functions in a nutshell. If you're interested in more, check out the data models video, or check out our video on SDKs, where we can automatically generate an SDK for your upstream developers to easily push data downstream into your analytics backend. Or if you're interested more about the egress side, we have got another series of videos about how you can use Moose to easily enable developers to get data out of this analytics backend that you've built with Moose. Feed that data into your dashboards, your reports, your BI, or your end user facing experiences with front end components that you want to pull that data into. Thanks. Bye.